Hello, guys. I assume that we're going live now. Somebody's gonna have to let me know if you can see or hear me. Now we'll just wait for it to catch up then. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. And is the audio doing okay? Yes, Sean. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Hey, I'm Cigar. Durham Duke. Good to see you guys. So can someone please let me know if the audio is good? Great. Okay. Thank you, Micah. I appreciate it. Thank you, Robert. Hello, Christian. Hello, Josh. Good to see you guys tonight. Thank you, MCigar77. Appreciate that. Hey, Eric. Good to see you. Mike, you're a desert pine piper. I don't quite know what that means. Glad the audio is good. Okay, so while we're waiting for folks to arrive, I figured, so the main point today is obviously to do the giveaway drawing. Over at the in-laws making Christmas cookies. Oh, thanks, Josh. I appreciate you taking the time out. Hey, Kirk. Glad it's working out. Great. Oh, you can see that? I didn't even realize that was in the shot. Yes, I'm enjoying the champagne of beers tonight. It's fine. You know, it's not the best beer I've ever drunk, but it's not the worst beer either. And might as well get this out of the way. So I've got this rather ancient cob, but it's been serving me well for a long time. And I'm smoking Sutliff Black Spice tonight, which is a really nice blend if you don't mind Black Cavendish and a little bit of an aromatic. Well, actually quite a bit of an aromatic, but it's a good quality aromatic that Ben the Artful Codger pointed me to. And I draw the line at Pabst Blue Ribbon. So it's actually a really nice, I think, a holiday blend, and I like to smoke it around the holidays. And good to see you too, Kathy. Hey, Steve, good to see you. I'm getting towards the bottom of the bowl here. But what I can tell you is, if you've never paired Sutliff Black Spice with the champagne of beers, don't. It's not good at all. The two flavors just don't. I'm not a big pairing guy. I don't really think a lot about what I'm drinking when I usually, to be honest, I usually just drink water, and I'm pretty happy with that. Occasionally, I enjoy beer or whiskey, coffee in the morning, certainly. And since I'm mostly smoking Burleys most of the time, those things don't really clash with Burleys. But when I have the occasional aromatic, I got to be a little bit more careful because some things just don't go well with black spice, I guess. Doing good, Steve. Good to see you. Hey, Dave. Glad you made it. It's the water and a lot more. So somebody already noticed my new decoration here. I'll tell you a bit about that. So first off, you can see we're decorated. It's hard to do that behind you. We're decorated for the holidays, not just for football, but we've got the Christmas stocking up, and that's where I'm hoping Santa's going to leave a keyless Jacob Chuck for my metal lathe. So we'll see if it fits in there. And also, I've got this really cool sign. My wife bought that for me when she was in Pittsburgh, and she told me the name of the store, and I forgot what store it was in. But it's it's basically it's not a saw. It's a cutout to look like a saw, and it's got man cave on it. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of that. I just think people should have their houses and my wife's more than welcome to come down here and spend time if she wants to. I don't think she wants to. And I know that I'm more than welcome to go spend time with her. So, but I do really like the fact that it's a saw, and it's fun. So I put it up there. I don't know. We'll eventually find a home for it somewhere. Hey, Groove and Piper, good to see you. Man, Caves are us. That's right, Steve. That's right. And it's funny that it's a saw, because one of the things that just drives me through the roof, and I think she knows this too, so I think that might be why she picked it, is there was this trend a few years back where people were taking antique distant saws and painting things on them, and then hanging them up and it drove me crazy, because those saws are perfectly good to use, better than any saw you can buy today, and I just hated to see that happen. So this is kind of funny in a way, because it's like my worst nightmare is to see a saw painted, and here I've got one hanging up behind me. So what I'm planning to do, we got about 23. I'm planning to, like last time, we'll go for about 45 minutes, and then we'll do the drawings. So I hope that works out okay for everybody. And the contest actually was really, I was surprised at how many entries we got. So just to give you the final numbers, we got 20 video entries, 20 VRs, which is more than I think I've ever had for a contest, so that's great. And we had a total of 104 entries through the comments. And I think something I want to point out to you guys is that ratio is really important. And it makes sense, because when I look at my analytics, there's a couple things that jump out. And one is, first off, more people are watching the videos than are making videos. There's no question about that. Also, the subscriber to unsubscriber thing is fascinating to me. I typically get more views, or about the same number of views, from people that are not subscribed to the channel as people that are subscribed. And the third thing that's really interesting is, this is suggesting, 104, I think I said, to 20. What that means is, we make these videos and we feel like we're talking back and forth to one another, but the truth is, we're talking to a lot of people we don't even know are there. The guys that comment regularly, we know you're there, but a lot of these folks, I was really glad to hear from them, but I've never seen their names before. Yet they're watching my videos. They're clearly watching the videos. So there's, when we talk about this community, we have to keep in mind that this community is a lot bigger than this little bubble that we're sitting in. And we gotta foster that. We gotta think about those guys and take care of them. And that's why I like to do contests like this, where I give the commenters a chance to win, as well as folks that make videos. So I hope, I know that's appreciated. So and I'm glad to do it. So any burning holiday topics on anyone's mind, or are you already tired of talking about the holidays? The presents are the tip of the the presenters are the tip of the iceberg. That's right. Yeah. Oh gosh, I hope all is well there. And thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So on holiday topics, I mean, you probably know if you've tuned in. I think that would be an excellent thing to do, Steve. Steve says he's thinking about doing a video talking about presenters and commenters. Yeah, because the commenters are a big part of us being the community. Oh, Eric, I envy you. I like eggnog, and I haven't had any today. All I've got is this. So I wanted to talk a bit about the entries that I got, and I'm not going to single anyone out. I'm not going to read anything or anything like that, but it was really interesting. I left the question intentionally to be sort of open-ended. Why is this time of year special to you? And I get 124 answers to that question, which is pretty good. Hello there, Croatia. Wow, that's fantastic. So when you sort through those 124 answers, there's themes that kind of emerge, and you'd expect them to, and some of them are predictable. So everybody, well, I think almost everybody, said that family is a big part of their on the big screen. That's great. Family's a big part of the holidays for them, and that makes sense. And I can understand why that would be pretty much a universal. Quite a few people, of course, pointed out the religious significance, spiritual significance of the holiday. And hey, Steph, Skip, glad you made it. So that was a big part for a lot of people, and those things were put in different orders. So some people started with the religious significance and then went to family. Other people started with family and then added the religious significance as I don't want to say an afterthought, but at the end. But those were the two things that really stood out. But what was interesting is there's a large number of people, and it really surprised me at how many people had the hello there from the UK. Good to see you. How many people had the experience of having lost loved ones around the holidays, and that impacted on them? And some folks said that it impacted in a way that they still don't like the holidays because of that. Other folks said that it bothered them for a long time, but now they have children, and they want the children to experience the holidays for what they are, and so that's changed them as well. Oh, hello, Paul. Good to see you. Trapper Dog, good to see you too. Sorry if I'm not saying hello to everyone. It's hard to catch these as they go by. So that was a surprise to me that was a relatively common theme in this, and I experienced that myself, not with these holidays, but my grandfather passed away right around Easter. Actually, I believe it was the week just prior to Easter during Lent. And my mother was very close to my grandfather, and she was devastated when he died. And she never celebrated Easter again. It was kind of interesting to watch that. She never said it. She never said, I can't celebrate Easter but that was it. She never again talked about it, never had any decorations or, candy for the kids or anything like that. So it's interesting how that can affect you. The other theme that you could kind of predict that was, pretty prevalent was this idea of commercialism ruining the holidays. And yeah, sure, there's no question about it. That's pretty much universal, and I don't think we can get out of it. Oh, sorry to hear that, Steve. Yeah, so you know exactly what I'm talking about then. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought. See, if this wasn't a live stream, I could edit at this point. Oh, Paul, sorry to hear that. There was another point. Yeah, Ralph, that certainly is important. Commercialism. Thank you. That's where I was going. Yeah, it's become, and people pointed out the fact that you start seeing the Christmas decorations in October. We don't even celebrate Thanksgiving anymore. Thanksgiving is just the start of sales season, and all those things. And that's true, and it's depressing. It bothers me a lot. But the way I deal with that, and I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but I just ignore it. I don't let it be part of my life. I don't leave the house on Black Friday. I never have gone Black Friday shopping. And this year I didn't completely do it, but I tried to just completely abstain from any media. No. People were calling it Blackout Friday, and just no internet, no television, nothing. I towards the end actually broke down and started checking emails and stuff, so I didn't do a very good job of it. But that was an interesting experience, and I got to read, and it was nice. So there are ways to deal with that commercialism, but it is becoming a more and more invasive thing. And I thought I should probably talk a little bit about why the holidays are special to me. Yes, Steve, I can understand that. Just because I didn't give an answer to my own question. And I agree with all the things that everyone that I said are common themes. Family, uh, the birth of our Lord, and all the religious significance around that, and everything. Those are all extremely important to me. But there's something about this time of year that's different, and this is what kind of made me ask the question, because I've been thinking about this a lot. And it might not be just the holidays, but there's something about winter, I think, that makes the world just feel a little bit smaller. Maybe it's because we just don't travel as much. We don't go out and about as much. When we do, we're bundled up and, trying to stay warm and all that. But it just feels like we're not so much living in this massive interconnected network of constant information. And I kind of like that. I like that sort of small town feel that I get those times a year. And that makes it feel special to me. And then when I see people putting out their decorations and, trees, cars with trees on the roof and things like that, I start to realize that there's this commonality that's binding people together at that time of year. It just makes me feel more connected to people and less connected to things. And I think that might be why the commercialism bothers people so much, because that's the exact opposite. So anyway, that's kind of my answer to my own question. I hope that was somewhat interesting to you. So I finished the black spice. I'm going to move on to something else. And we'll get that started up. So this is a CaneRodPipe. You've seen me with this before. And actually what I've got here is something kind of special. So this is a 5-year-old Stokkebye Luxury Bullseye Flake. And I'll show you. Now, if you don't know what Luxury Bullseye Flake looks like, this may not be all that impressive to you, but that is very, very dark compared to what you would get fresh. And I've been thinking about doing a video comparing this to some fresh. It's like a Tobacco Talk Tuesday type thing, because this is fantastic. If you like Luxury Bullseye Flake, by all means, jar some up and forget about it, because I've had it like 3 years or so. Looks like a Buick in my mouth. I'm not sure I know what that means. Are you saying the pipe looks large? It might just be the angle of the camera. It's not actually a very big pipe at all. It's, I guess the bowl is a bit bulbous, but it's not a huge pipe. It's not that big. It's actually a fairly small pipe. It's just I've got bigger. Just give me a minute here to pack. Yeah, so like I was saying, if you like Luxury Bullseye Flake, yes, Steve, it is. You really want to put some away and forget about it for 4 or 5 years, because it just becomes spectacular. It mellows, the sweetness comes up. It's really a fantastic blend, and very, very well priced. So this is the Country Gentleman Cobb, and this is the CaneRod that everybody is saying is big. I don't think it's that big. Thank you, Christian. Okay, guys, we're just gonna ignore that. The only thing about this Stokkebye Luxury Bullseye Flake is a little hard to keep lit, or to get lit. Once it's lit, once it's going, it's actually no issue at all, but the initial light is important. The camera, yeah, it's true to the pipe and to me as well. Yeah, well, it is a large pipe, but this is a smaller pipe. That was my point. That's that's true for a lot of people, Paul. And part of that might be Paul's saying that he likes Easter more than Christmas. It's closer to his heart, and I think a lot of people are starting to react to the over commercialization of Christmas in that way because you can find more significance in the holiday that's not commercialized as much. Hello, Michael. Doing fine. Doing fine. So like I said, the plan is going to be to. I'm going to spit for Easter. That sounds good, Ralph. The plan is going to be to run until about 45 minutes in, and then we'll do the drawing and see what happens after that. So is that really true? I always thought my mom and dad were just telling me that. That being that the awful handmade cards that I made were more important than the store-bought ones. You can work with wood, you can make some awesome. Oh, Jim, I got to wait a little bit. I was going to joke and say we'll draw Jim's name in about 23 minutes now. But if it does turn out to be Jim, that'll sound really awful. So, I actually do have. So it's upstairs, but I've got one of the Carter Hall tubs that I've filled with Haunted Bookshop now, which is a little bit more acceptable than carrying the 1 pound bag around with me. So I'm kind of happy about that. And I've got my Peterson pouch with Haunted Bookshop, but just wanted to try something different tonight. Not try something different, but have something different. Yeah, Michael, that was a gift from my wife. Thank you. On the luxury bullseye flake, Ralph, it's I don't know. I can't really tell. It's very much a Virginia, a vapor type room note. My wife only has ever complained about heavy Latakia blends and rarely about that even. So she doesn't. I'll often ask her, "What do you think of this tobacco?" And she'll say, "Oh, you're smoking." So. Oh, on the Haunted Bookshop. Well, I get the same story for that, unfortunately. I've had people say that Haunted Bookshop has a more cigarette-y smell to it. I've heard, I haven't noticed it, but I've heard other people say that. It is a burley dominant blend, so that might be the case. But it's absolutely delicious. It's really a fantastic blend. Yeah, I agree, Steph. I think the guys that aren't married should actually use that as a way of sorting out the smart women. If they like Laodicea, oh, someone has a lousy sporadic connection, but I couldn't get the muzzle cake piper. Have you had any gentleman call? Yes, I not in a while, but I have had gentleman caller um, with the deer tongue. It's nice. Prince Albert, yeah, Ralph. Uh, yeah, Steve. A haunted bookshop in the jar definitely has an interesting aroma. Uh, Northern Ireland, well, welcome. Glad you could make it. Haven't had many Ashton tobaccos, to be honest. At the gas stations, I think Paul was asking if they sell tobacco at the gas stations. I don't think so, and if they did, you probably wouldn't want it. It's what you mostly find at the gas stations these days are cigarettes, vaping type things, and some really bad, like factory paper wrapped cigars that come in some very unusual flavors, like grape flavored cigars and pineapple flavored cigars and things like that. Um, I haven't seen anything worthwhile at a gas station in a long time. Do they sell them over there, Paul? At the gas station? Can you buy good pipe tobacco at a gas station in Finland? Ah, okay, it is the same there. Yeah, the drum and but that's really a roll your own, right? Apparently the kids. Apparently people are hollowing out those flavored cigars and filling them with other ingredients. That's one of the reasons why the FDA is trying to come down on cigars and everything else. They're trying to stop that from happening. At least that's one of the reasons they give. But we all know there's other things going in. They take the middle out. Yeah. It's a heck of a lot of work. I can't imagine it's. Do they do? I don't know why I'm asking this question, but uh, hello there, Southern Arizona. Oh, just wish it was like that here today. Um, yeah, it is roll your own. Ah, glad you liked it, Paul. Yeah, I like Mixture 79. Yeah, that roll your own is it'll burn really hot in a pipe. So I've had a lot of the daughters in Ryan, I think, kind of fall into that category. They're more of a roll your own cigarette tobacco than not all of them, but a lot of them, and they burn very very hot. They're also very dry, so you can imagine why they burn hot and fast. Well, John's the one. I mean, I'm a small fish in that pond. Hello, Rick. Yeah, you need to sort of sip it, and the retrohale is really important on the Mixture 79, in my opinion, at least. So is anyone smoking any holiday blends tonight? Like any blends that they consider to be holiday blends? Oh, that sounds good. Walking Dead Kentucky Straight Bourbon. And that's not what you're putting in the eggnog. The eggnog's completely separate. Um, Haunted Bookshop cellar, yeah, it does cellar well, Christian. I mean, at least in my experience, I probably smoked it 5 or 8 years after being cellared. Um, and it's fine. It doesn't really improve, but it melds quite a bit in the first month or two. Uh, oh, those are some holiday-ish aromatics for sure. Christmas cookie and candy cane cocoa. And Peretti Yuletide. That's the... I was telling my friend Christian, who's Bona Piper here, that I've been, for some reason, smoking a lot more aromatics when I'm down here in the shop. I don't know why. Oh, yeah. A lot of people say that stuff about the nicotine in Haunted Bookshop. I have this weird thing where I don't seem to be sensitive to nicotine. Like, I've never smoked something and said, wow, that's really, giving me a buzz or something like that. Everything's just the same to me. So I, for some reason, I'm just completely insensitive to that. But I like the flavor. Yeah, so I've been on this aromatic kick. Plum pudding. That's a good one. Yeah, Ford. You got me there. Ford and Pipeful are fond of teasing me for my inability to cellar Haunted Bookshop, and this year was particularly embarrassing because I think I bought a pound with the intention of cellaring all of it, and I think it was the fourth pound that I finally got one jar put away. I just had this problem this year. Hello, Cliff. Glad you could make it. Captain Black, really? Wow. I used to smoke. Captain Black was my only blend for a couple of years when I first started smoking. It's what they had, at the drugstore, and it was fine. I didn't know any better. Not that I needed to know better. I mean, it's fine. It's perfectly good tobacco, but it was the only thing that I knew. And then I got into other things, and just a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago now, I bought a pouch of Captain Black just to try it again because it had been so long, and I found it to be terrible. I couldn't smoke it, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, to me, it just didn't agree with my palate at all. Yeah, I think it was just available. Great. Yeah, I've got an interesting issue with Granger. Yeah, I'll get back to that in a minute, Dorm Duke. Granger, I like the flavor of it, but to me it burns really, really hot, and I just don't like trying to temper it. I mean, there are other over-the-counter blends that I think are better behaved than Granger, and that might just be because I tend to puff fast, and it's my own. I'm sure that's more of a problem with me than with Granger, but for that reason, I've never really enjoyed it much. I recently I got a pouch of Sir Walter Raleigh that was actually given to me by Padre Piper a few months back, and during what I'm now calling the Great Haunted Bookshop Shortage of 2019, I was desperate for anything burley, and I had this pouch and opened it up, and I really enjoyed the Sir Walter Raleigh. I have not had that in quite a long time, but I may pick up a tub of that. And the vanilla honeydew that the Durham Duke was asking about, I've got it right here. This is Dan Tobacco. The actual name is Sweet Vanilla Honeydew. And Durham Duke was kind enough to send this to me, and it is fantastic. Good quality tobacco and a very well done topping. So I enjoy that a lot. That's one of the... Hi, Timothy. Thank you. Happy holidays to you, too. Granger bites a lot of people. Okay, well, it's good to know, Ralph. On this sweet vanilla honeydew, it's got a really interesting flavor where, I initially didn't know if the honeydew was like dew on the grass or if it was, some variation on the honeydew list or something like that, or if it was actually the melon. But I actually get some melony flavor from that tobacco, so I think it is literally meant to be the honeydew melon, and it's a very interesting flavor. Well, I'm glad Granger agrees with you, Eric. Doesn't sit well with me, just because of that hot burning issue, and it may just be my cadence, but it's one of the few tobaccos that I've decided that I just can't smoke because of the way it burns. I haven't run into that with many tobaccos. So something about that cut that just doesn't work for me. So we're at 36 minutes. I don't think you missed anything, no? Yeah, Carter Hall, there's something special about Carter Hall Ford. I don't know what it is, but that's been a favorite of mine for a long time. That's why I've got all these Carter Hall tubs to keep other tobaccos in. And yeah, it's just a smooth, mellow burley. It's incredible. I've noticed more and more that I'm getting a bit of a chemical flavor off of Carter Hall. And I don't know if that it's changed or if I've changed. So I've actually not been smoking as much of it as I used to. But that's the only negative that I've got, and that might just be my palate changing over time. So we're going to give it just a few more minutes, and then we'll do the drawing. And I said earlier, in case you guys joined after, because I said this pretty early on, we had a really good turnout for the contest. We got 20 VRs, and we've got 104 entries through the comments, and I really appreciate both of those. The VRs were all fantastic. The comments were all very insightful. Some were short, some were long, and that's okay. That's pretty much what I expected. It was a good sampling across the. Let me know if you can hear me now. Did you even notice that I disconnected? Apparently I went off for about a minute there. Good now? All right, great. Well, you know what? If we're going to potentially have issues, I think we should go ahead and get the drawing out of the way, just in case. But before I do that, I'm going to do one more pipe here. This is a Marksman Jumbo, I think. And we're going to do some Haunted Book. So hopefully everyone saw that I posted a video late last night with all the entries in it, and hey John, good to see you. All the entries and a number next to everyone's name. So if you entered, that number is going to be the number that we're going to use for the drawing. And all you got to do is know your number, but I got a list here. You don't have to know your number. And probably at this point everybody knows, but this is what we're drawing for. So this is a Missouri Meerschaum Country Gentleman, and it's got the replacement Christmas stem on it. Christmas stem takes you can smoke it without the filter. It's entirely up to you. And it also will come with the original, can I do this behind my back? With the original stem in case you want that for some reason. This stem fit any filtered Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipe, so it's, you can exchange it around different pipes and everything. And I just think the holiday theme is kind of cute. So we got one of these for the commenters and one of these for the VR folks. So let's begin. First off, I'm going to do a test just to make sure that you guys will be able to hear this. So let me know if you can hear my Google Assistant when I... oh, am I getting choppy? Not really anything I can do about that. So let's see. Anyway, let me know if you can hear the Google Assistant tell me what time it is. Hey Google. So that's the problem. I think what's happened here is that we've lost our internet connection, and I'm currently streaming through the phone's data connection. That's why it's gotten choppy. So give me a few minutes and I'll see if I can get this fixed. Just stand by. Okay, folks. Should be coming back on soon. My wife decided to reboot our router while I was doing this, so that's led to some obvious problems. So as soon as the network comes back up, we'll be able to do the drawings. Hey Google, what time is it?
The time is 4:42.
So could you guys hear the time just now? All right, so we're doing fine. So great, fantastic. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use for the drawing. So we're going to do the first one is the commenters. And again, we've got 104 entries here, which is fantastic. I wish I could send each and every one of you a consolation gift, but I'd go broke doing that. So, but I really appreciate the time you took to enter. All right, here we go. So 104. Hey Google, give me a random number between 1 and 104.
51.
51. 51 is Karen Isensi. Karen Isensi. I do not know Karen. Is Karen on the stream by any chance? Well, I will notify Karen that she won, and hopefully she will get me her contact information quickly, because I'd like to get the stem out to her so that she can enjoy it before Christmas. So You heard me on my phone? Heard you on your phone, okay. All right, so Karen I Sensi is the lucky winner from the comment. Looks like we stuttered there again. Country Gentleman with the replacement stem Christmas theme. So for the videos, we've got 20 entries. And again, I really appreciate all your entries and the time you took there and everything. Oh, I see. I activated your Google Assistant. That's funny. Yeah, I appreciate all the time you guys took to do the VRs, and I wish you luck. So let's see. Hey Google, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
Here's a random number, 6.
6. And the winner is Fireman Piper. So is Fireman Piper on the live stream by any chance? Well, congratulations to Fireman Piper and to Karen I Sensi. And actually, I'm going to mark this right now because I could easily forget. Although I guess I always have the live stream to go back to and watch. Now what we'll do is hopefully both of those folks will get in touch with me and let me have their contact information so I can get this mailed out to them. You can do that either through my webpage, CaneRodPipes.com, or you can just email me at CaneRodPiper@gmail.com, and I'll put that in the description to this video. I assume I can edit the description in the future, so I'll put that information down there. And as soon as you get me your contact information, I'll get those things in the mail, and I'd like to do it quickly so that you can have them in time for Christmas. Now, this is going to sound like a terrible advertisement, and I guess in a sense it is, but I did make some more Christmas stems, so I spent some time last week putting together a few more, because there was such an interest in this. I thought maybe some folks would like the chance to buy them. So they are up on my website. You can, if you go to CaneRodPipes.com, there's a for sale section, and feel free to take a look. I'm not, I try to keep the YouTube world separate from the business world. I've always done that, but in this case, I'm letting you know more as a giving you the opportunity, because I know a lot of you guys really seem to like the stems, and if you want them, you're getting first crack. I haven't set this out on Instagram or anything like that. I'll wait until tomorrow and then I'll advertise it on Instagram. So, yeah, I am working on pipes now, Ralph. So if you need to send me one, if you still have the shipping form, you can just go ahead and do that and shoot me an email when you send it, so I know it's coming. If not, get in touch and I'll send you the shipping form again. So what did I do with I had only just gotten this lit when we started having network problems. All right, Jim, have a good one. Okay, Ralph, send me an email, please. Oh, thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. Well, just please get in touch. That's what I do. Yeah, I really do try to not. I don't want to ever turn the YouTube channel into a advertisement for the business, and there's a reason for that. See you, Gumby. The reason is, I started the YouTube channel because I wanted to teach people how to restore pipes, because I thought that there was a need for that, because there's a lot of pipes out there that need to be restored, more than I could ever restore. So that was the point of the YouTube channel, and I hope that I've done that and I continue to do that. Yes, Steve. Oh, no. That as long as you got my address, send me an email, Steve. We'll work it out. So I made the couple of these. Okay, all right, sounds good. So I made the YouTube channel really as an educational thing, and I hope that it served that purpose and continues to serve that purpose. I started the company because I was getting all these requests, like, can you do this on my pipe? I don't have the tools, I don't have the time. Take care there, Dave. Thanks for tuning in. So I wanted to be able to help people that I couldn't do it for free just because it's taking up time and materials and everything else. So that was the reason why I started the company side of things. Thanks, Steph and Skip. I'm glad you could join us. But I never wanted to make the YouTube channel about the business, just because I still enjoy that teaching aspect of it. I want you guys to be able to fix your own pipes. I don't want to have to do it for you, but if that's what's necessary, I'm happy to do it for you. So hope that makes sense. All right, Trevor, have a good meal. So I'm going to finish this this pipe. And I can either do it while you watch, or I can shut this down. You're welcome, Frank. You're welcome. Yes, get some rest. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for it. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a Marksman. It's a jumbo. Or at least, well, it's got all the markings of a Marksman jumbo, but it actually doesn't have the word Marksman on it. It's interesting. So I don't know if that means it's a second or if it was a knockoff or what, but it in every way appears to be a Marksman jumbo. Sure thing. Yep. Happy to help you. Hi, Everett. Happy holidays to you. Thanks, Michael. I was hoping somebody would say that. Yeah, so I'll keep the stream going for a bit anyway, at least until this gets finished. But Everett, we got Karen Isensi, one from the commenters, and Fireman Piper from the video. Okay. Oh, enjoy the Peloton. They belong to a certain brand or factory, but they're not marked. That could be Pipes and Bees. It's a possibility. Yeah, Paul, I've heard that, and the problem is I'm happy to do it, but the shipping is just so expensive, and there's always these custom issues. Customs, even when you're not sending tobacco, it's a problem. You don't think the shipping's expensive, Paul? Orlick pipes. There's an Orlick pipe. They're good, Ralph. They're similar to a Graybo or a K Woody. Fairly standard factory pipes for that period. This is actually one that came from our friend Danny Shore, and it's one that I keep down here in the shop and smoke quite often. Oh, you want an Orlick on eBay? It smokes great. No, I haven't heard of that one, Dave. Oh, $14 isn't bad at all. I thought it was more than that because I ship by priority here in the States, and it's a little bit over $8 to do that. sorry to keep switching back and forth with the glasses here, but sometimes it's really hard to see what you guys are writing. And since I had my cataract surgeries, you are going for that, Luke. I think that's going to be a nice pipe. I didn't realize they were made in Italy. That's interesting. It's up to 25. Yeah, if it is the Luke had sent me some pictures of a gray bow earlier, and if it does have that adjustomatic stem, that's really a nice feature. So it's probably worth that. Oh, fantastic. Well, good luck, Luke. I hope you win that one. Well, Kirk, you should. It's but I warn you, it appears to be highly addictive. I think Cornell and Deal put a substance in it that I've done this joke before, makes you crave it fortnightly. Yeah, Christian, I thought the same. I was kind of surprised to see Italy. I thought Orliks were made in England. Ah, so you'll be set. Good job, Kirk. That's the gateway to a pound, of course, but interesting. So maybe Orlik was one of these, like we were talking about earlier, one of these brands that just got pipes from different manufacturers and stamped them. So it might be that sometimes they're from France, sometimes they're from Italy. I don't know. It's a shame because there's a lot of history that's kind of been lost in, especially in that like 1930s, 1940s era, where there was a lot of this sort of back and forth between different companies, and not only companies acquiring one another, but also just trading pipes. We can't sell these here, take them over there and sell them, that kind of stuff. It all gets very, very muddy, and it doesn't seem like many people kept track of a lot of that. So the history is essentially lost, and it's a shame because it wasn't that long ago. And I like pipe history. I like when I do a restoration to do some research on the brand or the maker, and sometimes it's just not possible. Thank you, Paul. I look forward to that. Big Dave, I haven't had 79 Ghosted Pipe, but there's some other Mixture 79 smokers on here. Yeah, that would be interesting, Christian. And Luke, you're in the company of about 50% of pipe smokers. Luke says he doesn't like Mixture 79. I was terrified of Mixture 79 for a long time just because I read all the reviews and everything. So Everett says he's not had it ghost, and I've not had it ghost either. And I finally bought a pouch of it, and I just fell in love with it. It's the first couple smokes, I have to admit, were a little rough, but after a bit, I just really fell in love with the blend. It's quite good. Yeah, it's true, Paul. If you smoke nothing but it for a long time, it might. There's a cherry Mixture 79. I've never seen that. Sounds like a joke, to be honest. Oh, Kirk, you're already hooked and you haven't had it yet. I haven't tried the Paladin yet, Luke. I look forward to hearing your impressions of that. Yeah, velvet. I know I'm going to offend a lot of people here, but I'm not a fan of velvet. It's not bad. It just doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah, those will definitely ghost, Paul. Yeah, Kirk, I don't know. I gotta. Dr. Graybo CDL. It's not ringing any bells. Yeah, I'm with you there, Luke. I think Carter. Although I recently had a really good pouch of Sir Walter Raleigh that I enjoyed. So I'm having. I've always said Carter Hall is my favorite, but that Sir Walter Raleigh was really good. So I might be I might be switching allegiances. It was the original, not the aromatic. Yeah, the deer tongue takes some getting used to. It's not something that you can just pick up and smoke. You have to kind of learn to taste it. It can be very sharp, but if you're it's going to sound silly, but if you're gentle with it, it actually is a very very nice sort of almost vanilla flavor with a little bit of a green note to it. It's not something that I could smoke all the time, but on occasions, it's a very nice sort of change of pace, I think. Oh, I didn't know that. Prince Albert, Chesty Puller. Well, we're going by fast here. Kendall, I think I've got a tin of Kendall Black Cherry. Might have to break that out and give it a shot. I wrote a blog post about a year ago on cherry tobacco, where cherry is one of the tobaccos that people just tend to avoid because they're worried that it's gonna, there aren't a lot of good cherry tobaccos. Let's just put it that way. And I saw Andy, who's Iron Rails and Pipe Dreams, I think, or something like that. Andy reviewed I think it was Stokeby cherry blend that I tried, and it was fantastic. I was really surprised. So some cherry tobaccos can be really, really quite good. Is it hit and miss, Luke, because different tobaccos you like or don't like, or is it the same tobacco is hit and miss for you? Oh, I'll have to look at those, Eric. Everett, sorry. Different, yeah. Yeah, I've certainly had bad cherry tobacco. But the worst tobacco I've ever had was apple flavored. Huh. Cooler, drier, lighter. That is interesting. Aluminum. Are they Falcon-like in any way? I was with you, Steve, until just about a year ago, and I found this one. And don't get me wrong, I'm not keeping pounds of it on hand or anything. It was a one-shot thing, and I've never reordered it. But it was kind of enlightening how good this cherry tobacco could be. Captain Black Royal, that's a popular one as well. Hello, Jeffrey. Happy holidays to you. Yeah, those C&D aromatics. It's funny. I love Autumn Evening, which Cornell and Deal makes, and I think that's a fantastic aromatic. But I've tried Corncob Pipe and a Button Nose and any of their holiday blends, going all the way back to I think it was We Three Kings was the first one, and they're just terrible. They have this very strong, to me. I'm sorry, I need to always say that, very strong chemical taste. Which cherry am I smoking? Or are you talking to somebody else there, Jeffrey? I'm not smoking cherry. I was talking about a cherry that I had a while back, and it was, I believe it was Peter Stokkebye 3 cherry, 4 cherry, something like that. Oh, that's interesting, Steve. So Graybo had, what do they call that when they make the car models that never get filled? 3 cherry, yeah, that's it, Christian. Is Daybreak a Boswell blend as well? I'm familiar with Northwoods. I don't know Daybreak. Hearth and Home. Yeah, Everett. I'm frightened of anything with the name Kendall in it. To be honest with you. Seven Seas cherry. I've heard good things about that's the McBaron Seven Seas. I've not tried them myself. I don't know, Paul. It's hit and miss. I haven't looked lately. Yeah, Borkum Riff is another one of those that just never agreed with me. Hey, Couch, how's it going? Good to see you. Middleton cherry, but it's not a cherry blend. It's not? I don't recall ever having Middleton cherry. Haven't had Voodoo Queen, Kirk. I agree, Paul, but it sells. Hello, Patrick. Ah, okay, Ralph. Okay. That makes sense. So Ralph just said that Middleton. Oh, sorry, I kicked you across the room. Ralph just said the Middleton cherry was named after the street. So there's a cherry. Middleton was based in Philadelphia, and Walnut was named after Walnut Street. They also had a Chestnut that was named after Chestnut Street, and Cherry is also named after the street. So that I had forgotten about that, but that makes perfect sense. And Middleton still makes Carter Hall, and also owns the Philadelphia Phillies. So. Yeah, 1Q is not something I can smoke. Molto Dolce, yeah, it's okay. I've enjoyed Molto Dolce as far as aromatics go. No, Condor is very hard to get here, Paul. I wish Middleton would bring back walnut. Yeah, Lane 1Q, that's one of these blends where I get nothing but chemical flavoring. And I've talked about this before. I just, Three Nuns is good stuff there, Luke. If you like vapors, the Three Nuns Green is fantastic. Yes, Christian, walnut did sell well, and I don't know why they stopped making it. It might have been one of these things where one of the components went out of existence. Oh yeah, Lewis smoked the original Three Nuns. I think you'll find I never had the Three Nuns that Lewis smoked, that vintage, but I had some old Three Nuns before it wound up. I think McBaron makes it now. And in my opinion, the Three Nuns Green is much closer to the older stuff that I've had. It's not too heavy in the perique, but it's noticeably a vapor, whereas the Three Nuns regular is more of a Dark Fire Kentucky type blend. Yeah, try, but they're both excellent. I think you'll like them both. So are the live streams? I mean, I've got 44, 45 people still on here at an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm assuming that you're not bored out of your minds. But are these worthwhile, you think? I'm thinking about doing one on a monthly basis. I don't want to do it weekly. Make it a staple. Do you mean the live stream or the Three Nuns? It's hard to beat Carter Hall. Okay. How about I make both a staple? That would be good. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. I said this after the first one that I did, but I oh good. It looks like we're getting really good feedback here. I kind of dreaded doing that first one. I didn't know how it was going to go, but the truth is, after it was done, I had a ball. I really enjoyed doing it. So I was looking forward to doing another one almost immediately. But I don't think I want to do more than monthly. Interact with each other. Yeah, that's a good aspect of it. You know, I didn't get that, Luke. I live some 403. Yeah, I've actually heard from some people that don't like live streams because of all the banter that goes on between the folks watching. Oh, that's a good one, Luke. That's a good Superior Round Slices. Is that the one that has dark fired in it? I'm trying to remember. But I've had it's Newminster Superior Round Slices. Yeah, Cabby's mixture is good. It's hard to get, but that's a really good vapor as well. So yeah, there are folks that kind of get put off by the banter that goes on in the comments. I don't. It doesn't bother me. You know, I can pretty quickly tell whether you're talking to me or not, and when I can't, it's not that big of a deal. But you know, I kind of view YouTube in general as, and I've used this analogy a lot. So let me go back a bit. So a lot of people, you'll see them say, "Oh, I haven't had a chance to watch all the videos in my feed. I'm so far behind," all that, and you know, people get really kind of hung up on the fact that they're not commenting on enough videos or they're not making enough videos and all that. And I was having a conversation with someone that unfortunately is not around anymore. He was an excellent video guy. He was one of these guys that you just like sitting down to talk to, and the stress got to him. He literally was so stressed by the idea that he'd have to keep up with all this that he had to stop. And I told him that, you know, the way I think about YouTube is I think of it like you go to a party. And, you know, sometimes you go to a party and there's a big crowd of people and you get right in the middle of that crowd of people and you talk for the whole night. Other times you might just sort of hang out with one friend or, you know, maybe no one, you know, maybe just stay for a few minutes and take off. And that's all good. You know, it just depends on what you're feeling that night and you know, what the topics of conversation are. And I don't think there's any expectations. I don't think anybody, you know, if you go to a party and you only talk to 2 or 3 people, I don't think the people you don't talk to get mad at you because they just didn't see you that night. And that's kind of the way I think about this. And I guess in a sense, you can apply that to live streams and the banter that goes on between people. You know, we're kind of all in this communal place talking to one another, and there's no reason why the person that just happens to be visible should somehow have sole control over the conversation. Plus, in my case, if I had sole control over the conversation, it wouldn't go very far. Yeah, I haven't gotten into the house party thing yet. And I say yet, but I'm not going to. It took me forever to even think about trying Voxer, and I do have Voxer, and I do chat with a few people on there. If any of you guys have it, feel free to look me up. But I don't know. I guess I just got enough other stuff going on that I don't need another app on my phone buzzing at me every 15 minutes. But for me, the best part of what we're all doing here is that interaction. You know, whether it comes from emails or comments or Voxer or VRs or whatever, it's the thing that we're missing in this modern world where people are trying so hard to prevent us from enjoying our pipes. It gives us a chance to be together and enjoy one another's company and trade what we think about various blends, or, you know, I learned about the CDL Graybos tonight, which I never would have known about. I've had bald-headed teacher. It's been a while. It's, if I'm remembering right, it's a relatively mild Latakia blend. Yeah, I agree. Sharing the experience really is one of the big benefits of this. Yeah, I smoked a lot of mild Latakia blends a few years back because I was trying to find a replacement for number 10 Downing Street, which I smoked for a very long time. And I talked about this before, but I won't reach for it because I'll knock something over, but I've got a big jar of number 10 Downing Street from, I think, 2010, which is right around the time Lane stopped making it. And totally over, okay, I was talking to somebody else. And, you know, I'm really glad to have it and I enjoy it, but it's still not what I was looking for. And yet it is what I was looking for. So it just kind of shows you the memory of a blend is not necessarily, I'll get to that in a second, Big Dave. That's a good question. The memory of the blend is not necessarily what the blend really was. We bring a lot of things to that memory, and you can spend a lot of time trying to find an old blend, and you'll never find it, even if you literally find it. So I never found a Latakia blend that I liked the way I liked number 10 Downing Street. So Dave asked me if the doctor tried to discourage me from smoking after my cancer diagnosis. Turns out the form of cancer that I had nothing to do with smoking. It was, I've talked about this before. I actually had breast cancer, which is very rare in men. It's also very devastating in men. So learn to check yourself. If smoking caused breast cancer in men, it would be epidemic, right? I mean, it would be much, much more common than it currently is. So mine was genetic, and there was really no need to stop. Now, what they did caution me about was that the treatment and there's all these risk factors for blood clotting, and I actually did have a pulmonary embolism shortly after I completed chemotherapy. And the nicotine is definitely a risk factor for that. So they did ask me to cut back, and I did for a while. Now I'm on Eliquis, which does a really good job of keeping you from producing clots, and I feel that it's safe. Now, of course, most doctors will tell you don't smoke. But I've talked to quite a few doctors who, I've told them what I smoke, and I've had doctors tell me, I won't tell you to stop because if you told me I couldn't smoke a cigar every night, I don't know what I would do. So it's mixed. You gotta do your research, and you gotta make up your own mind. And certainly the healthy thing to do is to not smoke. No question about that. It can't possibly be beneficial to your health. But I think a lot of the risks, especially for pipe smoking, are overstated. Hernia surgery, 4 weeks sick leave. Wow, that's and that's going to be over the holidays. So you're getting that before Christmas. That's going to be difficult. I I can't imagine any surgery is not to some degree difficult. And if you need a 4 week recovery, that's something. Oh, I remember you talking about that, Luke. Yeah. Yeah, I think if that it's beneficial to me was in terms of tobacco and health. I think there is some beneficial impact on, I mean, stress, for one. I mean, I find it relaxing. Yeah, gout is awful. I know people that have that and they suffer terribly from it, Kirk. So sorry to hear that. So yeah, you can probably point to some offsetting benefits. And there is the off-cited Surgeon General report that said that pipe smokers outlive non-smokers as long as they don't inhale. There's a really interesting book, and I cannot remember the title or the author right now. But Christian, if you remember, I told you about this book. If you by any chance remember the title or author, you could let us know. It's on smoking and cancer, and sort of going through the scientific research and really picking it apart and understanding it. And there's not a lot of evidence out there. It's surprising just how willing we were to kind of jump on the bandwagon and say that smoking is bad. Oh, there you go. Oh, Steve, I've heard that I shingles is not fun. So are you able? There is a vaccine now. Are you able to get that after you've had shingles, or is that only before you've gotten it? I don't know. I should know, but I've wondered about that because this, shingles is actually the chickenpox virus that's hiding in your body, so it's there all the time. So I don't know why you couldn't get the vaccine after the fact, but I'd be curious to know if you've explored that. Wow, almost lost his business. That's something. Oh, so you can get the vaccine after the case. That's good to know, Sean. That's one of those things that I've been putting off, and I really shouldn't, because I've heard such awful stories about that. Hi, Ralph. Well, it's great. It's great to have you on board. Yeah, Sean, I'll do that. That makes sense, Steve. I guess you initially would have some antibodies after the uh, the attack. No, that's not fun either, Kirk. Sciatic is can be very painful. Well, my haunted bookshop has gone out. We're still at 43. That's impressive. Oh, in your eye, Steve? That's terrible. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because that's really horrible. I'm so glad it's healed up. What am I? I'm drinking the champagne of beers, Miller High Life. That's the truth, Michael. Yeah, I'm sure, Steve. So should we do one more bowl? Ah, we got a lot in common, Luke. Yes, kidney stones are painful. That sounds good, Paul. All right, pipes and bees, I'm going to take that as a yes to my question. Because I was going to have another bowl anyway. What should we do? Heck, let's do some autumn evening. Uh-oh. That's interesting. There. Excuse me, I'm just going to grab a pipe cleaner. It's one of the great things about sitting down here in a pipe shop. You can always clean your pipe. Thanks, pipes and bees. That's better. So, yeah, some autumn evening. $9mm filters, want to convert them to non-filters? So you can buy inserts. For the 9mm, I don't know if you can buy the inserts. I know they make them for the 6mm. But they're not, I mean, to do it right, you really want to have one that's custom fit to the pipe. And that's something I can do if you're interested. I don't want to make this into an ad, but I'll talk a little bit about filter conversion. So if any of you watched the, yeah, Christian, that's, you can buy them for the 9mm as well. Thank you. If any of you watched the video that I made with the Bing's favorite, the 7L Bing's favorite, you saw that I spent a lot of time making sure that the holes lined up and that they were the same diameter and everything, so that you had that smooth passage of as you're drawing the smoke through the pipe. If you get these sort of generic inserts, they'll probably work okay, but you might get some gurgling. You know, the pipe isn't going to perform at its best. So I think it's better to actually have one made that is custom fit to the pipe, and that's something I do. And you know, it's going to be more than $4. I think I charge about $20 to do that, but they'll be essentially like the pipe never had a filter in it. And I'm sure there's other folks that can do it too. Again, I don't want to turn this into a commercial. Now, what I've been getting asked a lot is, can I take a non-filtered pipe and convert it into a filtered pipe? And I've decided that my standard answer to that is no. And it's not because I'm anti-filter, which I am, but it's because it weakens the pipe too much. You know, I see more cracked tenons and cracked shanks on filter pipes than non-filter pipes. And that's because, you know, to fit that filter in, the shank has to be thinner walled and the tenon has to be thinner walled. And that's fine if, you know, a new pipe hopefully has been engineered in a way to compensate for that. So you'll have, you know, thicker structure. Now there are some cases where it's not, and the 7Le's Bing's favorite is, I believe, a bad design because of that. They leave very little wall thickness, and it's easy to break. So when folks have a pipe that was designed to be a non-filter pipe and they want me to drill it out and put a filter in, yeah, I can do it, but I think you're just asking for trouble. And I just prefer to not do it. It just, I don't like to do work that I think is making the pipe more likely to fail, or that is actually in some way hurting the pipe. So, yeah, that's I won't do it. And there are guys that do it, so. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I mean, I this is no secret. I don't think filters are worth the paper they're rolled out of or whatever. And I've got a whole ridiculously long series about about filters, and yeah, I tried to give them an honest try because they certainly are popular with some folks. But to me, I never saw any benefit, and I saw a lot of loss of flavor. And what I worry about is there's this myth that you've got a health benefit from the filters, and that's not really true. You're just getting half as much of what you would get if you didn't have the filter there. But it's if that's what you want, smoke half as much and enjoy the flavor. Hello, Flatwater Monty. Good to see you. It's terrible. I'm doing this on my cell phone, so you know, these things flash up and they're there for a short period of time and then they disappear. So I can sometimes see them, but depending on where they're at and what the background is, it's sometimes hard. So I got to put these on, and I can't always catch them. Yeah. Bumper. Oh, we ate all the pizza, Ben. Yes, I do need my cheaters. Yeah, Paul, that is interesting. Good to see you, Ben. Oh, Dave, I bet that was good. The Burleys, especially those over-the-counter Burleys, they rehydrate remarkably well. It's really amazing. I've got a pouch of Granger that, if I'm remembering right, I actually had Ben help me with this. It was he said that it was possibly from the 40s, and it's unopened. So at some point, I'm planning to open that up and rehydrate it and see how it burns. Although, like I said earlier, Granger doesn't agree with me very much, so I haven't been terribly motivated to do it. All right, Ralph. Thanks for joining us, and you have a good night too. Yeah, it takes up water really well, Dave. So it's not surprising that it was simple to rehydrate the old Sir Walter Raleigh. I think people overcomplicate rehydrating. I've never done more than tossed something wet into the jar and closed it. I use these terracotta stones, and they're great. You soak them in water for like 15, 30 seconds, something like that. Pat them dry, and okay, Paul, you have a good night too. Thanks for joining us. Pat them dry and just drop them on top of the jar. I don't really worry about it touching the tobacco or anything like that. It's just never been a problem. So before I found the terracotta stones, I used to just take a piece of paper towel, sort of fold it up into a little square, wet that, squeeze it out, and drop it on top and leave it for 24 hours. I've never done anything more complicated than that, and it's never been a problem. I also don't use distilled water. A lot of people swear you have to use distilled water. Just regular tap water. Yeah, that works too, man, but it's easier just to throw a paper towel in. So I'm about halfway through this autumn evening. That's definitely true. We we over romanticize the pipe smoking. So we are gonna call it quits when this goes out. But this has been a lot of fun. Oh, good. Ben will finally get his pizza. Huh, pipes and bees, that's really kind of you to say. No cheese on your pizza? Extra onion? Remind me never to go out for pizza with Ben. Ah, yes, that's right, flat water. Really, Ben? That's fantastic. I've been having a lot of conversations. Ben mentioned dieting and losing weight. I've been having a lot of conversations at work around ketogenic diets, and I'll give you my favorite pipe shape in a second, Dave. And boy, it's funny. There's like these two camps. There's this camp that's saying that the ketogenic diet can solve everything. You know, it can cure diabetes, it can cure cancer. It's it's basically the only way to live. And then there's the camp that says you're going to kill yourself if you do that, and there's no middle ground. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the ketogenic diet, but it's basically cut out all carbohydrates and eat a ridiculous amount of fats. And I'm talking about the scientific literature here, not just like people's opinions. These are published articles. You cannot find an article that's sort of saying it might be okay. Really, Couch. I hope it's working out for you. Like I said, it's just as a scientist, it's really hard for me to look at that and decide whether it's something good or bad. So someone asked what's my favorite pipe shape, and it's going to be something billiardish. I'm not too picky about whether it's a true billiard or a pot or whatever, but yeah, straight billiard is, I think it's functional. It's easy for me to clench. I tend to go with these lighter ones for the most part. You'll notice this, which everybody thought was an enormous pipe. It's really not that big. This has a slight bend to it, and that's really nice for clenching. It hangs nicely. Whereas this, although it's a straight lever, it's much lighter. So it's perfectly fine. I can drive with this pipe, and it stays out of the way. Rhodesians are nice. I like bulldogs. Actually, I don't have many bulldogs. I think I only have one, to be honest. But they're nice pipes. And I don't only have straight billiards, but if I had to get rid of all my pipes but one shape, this would be the shape that I would stick with, or something similar to that. Ben's going to get a restraining order out on cheese. Yeah, Canadians, that's another good one. And lumberjacks. Various forms of the Canadian. I wonder why. Does anyone know why Canadians are called Canadians? I mean, other than the obvious that people in Canada made them first or something. I don't know. You know what I meant, Ben. I asked what I meant. Canadian pipes. Okay, does anyone know why the pipes that we call Canadians are called Canadian? They live in Canada. Lovats, that's another one, yeah. That could be flat water. Oh, Christian, you were my great hope for this question. And there you go, Ben. Christian lives in Canada, and I don't call him a Canadian. Yeah, the briar definitely is going to absorb moisture, so you're going to get a drier smoke from it, no question. And there are people that argue, so apparently bamboo is more hygroscopic than briar, and will give you an even... All right, Steve, thanks much. Yeah, the bamboo will give you an even drier smoke than briar will, and that's one of the reasons why people like the bamboo shanked pipes. I just don't like the look of them for the most part, so I don't know any. I've never smoked one, to be honest. Although I do have one that I'm going to be working on soon. Oh, that's interesting. That's right, Ben. Then you have to look at the bamboo. So you could basically smoke the Canadian without the stem. Oh, they're quite common, Andrew. Just Google bamboo shank pipe. Yeah, I think there's something like one is an oval and the other one is round or something like that. The Canadian versus the lumberman or lumberjack or... They come in a flat line. Yeah, the oval shank makes it the Canadian. Okay. That's one embarrassing thing that if any of you watch me for any length of time, you'd know this. I'm terrible at pipe shapes. You know, I work on pipes all the time. I've been smoking them for over 30 years, repairing them for, gosh, close to 20 years now. And I have a terrible time telling you what shape a pipe is. And it's mostly because there's just so many that, like subtle variations. Like I really can't tell you the difference between I'm having trouble even thinking, like a brandy and an apple and a billiard. They all kind of morph into one another at some point. Like if you look hard enough, you could, so is this a billiard? If you look at it, the walls are curving up a bit. It's a bit more rounded, so it's probably not a billiard. Could it be a Prince? I don't know. I'm just terrible at it. So I have very few pipe shapes in my world. I've got bents and straights. You'd call it straight apple? Yeah, could be. I won't disagree. I think we got a couple of puffs left, and then we're going to call this a night. Oh, appealing to the eye, indeed. Indeed. Well, folks, I really appreciate you joining me tonight. Just a reminder, if any of you do want to take a look at the stems, there are Christmas stems available at CaneRodPipes.com. There's only 3 of them, so I didn't make a ton of them because we got a limited time before Christmas, and I don't think anybody's going to want them after Christmas. So if you're interested, go take a look. Get in touch by email, whatever. And I hope you enjoyed the contest. I really enjoyed it, as I said earlier, and look forward to another one sometime in the future. And I really am enjoying the live stream, so we'll try to make this a monthly thing. We'll shoot somewhere for the middle of the month and see how that goes. So I'll look forward to doing this again somewhere around mid-January. Yes, I would like a pipe chart. I could put it right next to the former Super Bowl champions up there. That would be great. but I'll only accept the pipe chart if it comes with a pound of Haunted Bookshop. Thank you, Dave and Christian. I appreciate that. And yeah, I appreciate all your time. So Merry Christmas to you all. Have a very happy holidays. Enjoy the time with your, yeah, Fry. Enjoy the time with your family. And I'll be in touch soon. Probably not tomorrow. Got some other things going on. But hopefully we'll get together again before Christmas. So thanks again, everyone. Have a good evening.